Hey guys, it's Rose and Janet from Connecticut Spirit Investigators, and we are going to be doing Paranormal Breakdown. We're going to be talking about an investigation that we did a few years ago. It's a place that we've been to quite a few times. And just to give you a little bit of the history, this house is actually, it's a mansion, and it is a historical site, and it has underground railroad ties, and it's a 30-room mansion. It was built in the 1800s, and the owners actually helped build the town that it's in right now. So the team was called in. Remember this investigation? Mm-hmm. There was a film crew that was actually there, and they were filming a movie, and they were having all types of experiences. They were actually, a bunch of them were actually afraid to be in the mansion. They ended up not staying there at night. They ended up getting a hotel room and actually staying at the hotel room at night and then coming back to film during the daytime. So the current owner wanted to check to see if there was, paranormal activity at the house and if the house was haunted. There was also a neighbor, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a neighbor who would see a man upstairs on the top floor landing, and he would pull
from the back
the curtains, and he would peek out, so they would see him there too. So the thing that got the film crew was the little girl spirit that was at the bottom of the stairs in a nightgown, and she was actually singing nursery rhymes. So we came in and we investigated the location several times. We got tons of EVPs, remember? So far. And then we got a female humming and giggling. And there was a spirit telling us that he wanted a stogie.
Wanted a stogie.
So remember what you did when he said that?
When we went back, I bought a cigar. We pretended to smoke a stogie. We didn't light it, but we didn't smoke it. But I think he did respond to that.
Yeah, he was really into it. Because there was a bunch of orbs around.
Yep.
And also with Ghost Box, he was responding that you were, he was happy to see you, that you brought a cigar for him. What about, do you remember when we did the flashlight experiment and we were asking questions with the flashlight, and we actually got a woman that was saying she worked there as help?
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, I remember we did that.
She said that she was actually, the man that lived there, it was his maid that was coming through.
Right. I think the little girl belonged to somebody too, because he didn't have any children.
Right.
So one of the housekeepers or.
And getting to the little girl, remember when we were at the bottom of the stairs where the little girl was seen, and we did.
Was it Ring Around the? No, not Ring Around the Roses.
Yeah. It was
no.
Or London Bridges.
London Bridges. It was London Bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were actually singing it, and then we felt a cold spot. It was about 2-3 feet tall, the size of a small child, and it just, we all felt it. She
responded. We did get an EVP. I think she was singing too, or something.
And don't forget the picture that we got.
Oh, the picture on the stairs. That was when we went back another time.
Yeah, so she was she had her little feet dangling on the step. Yep. So that was pretty cool when that happened.
Or the best one.
The best?
That is like a history in our book.
Yes. That was actually, I want to say, one of the best experiences that I ever had probably investigating, was that night when we were taking a break and we were having chocolate chip cookies and just getting ourselves ready for the next thing that we were going to do.
We're up on the landing.
We're up on the landing where the man was seen peeking out the window, and all of a sudden we're standing there and we're both looking in the same direction, and all of a sudden you just grab my arm. I'm looking at that location. You didn't talk and I didn't talk. We're frozen, and we saw a full-bodied apparition. She just kind of floated. It was a woman in a white dress, and she kind of floated behind the camera. There was an IR camera set up, and she knew enough to walk behind the camera, and she disappeared into the room, and or disappeared into the wall. And we had our cameras ready. We were ready, the investigators, to take pictures, and we were just frozen, and we were just you know.
We couldn't even tell the people behind us that we're still enjoying cookies
Yeah,
of what we were seeing because we couldn't talk.
exactly.
We were in shock.
Yes, we were in shock.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that was the best experience ever.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's
just like you see in like Hollywood or movies. There was no feet
and
on
still
the
you
ground.
doubt yourself. Did you see
Yeah.
that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did that really happen?
Yeah. But I mean, we knew enough to like. You were asking me what I saw, and I was asking you.
Yeah.
And it was like we compared our notes, and
Yeah.
we saw the same thing. And two people, I always say, two people can't have the same
Exact experience.
illusion,
Right.
or you know. So that definitely happened, and that was probably the best experience. Yeah, I'll never forget that. And we're, you know, like we say many times, they're details that you don't forget. You know, they're like so live and vivid in your memory that you don't, you know, it's something we're never going to forget.
No.
I just remember you looking at me, grabbing my arm, and
I couldn't talk,
we were
and that's
so
something for me not to be able to talk.
yeah, we were so excited. Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit about a local legend, and you know him too, the Leatherman.
Yeah.
And he's very well known in this area, especially in eastern New York. He was from the 1800s, and he traveled by foot between Connecticut River and the Hudson River. And people recognized him because he always was in full gear. He had heavy leather pants, shirt, hat, boots. And nobody really knows too much about his personal life. They really don't even know his name.
He didn't talk. He didn't speak.
Talk. Supposedly when he did talk, he had a little bit of a Canadian French accent, so they think maybe he was, you know, from that area. But people were nice to him. They actually would leave food on the doorsteps for him. And he would come through like he would do the same type of route. And it took him like the whole year to go through. And I guess it took him like 24 to 36 days he would be seen like in one spot, and then he'd come back to that same spot like almost a month and a half later.
Really?
Yeah, so I guess he hit a lot of the homes in this area locally. We even have a cave that's named after him, the Leatherman Cave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is a spot that people go and hike. And we actually have ties to him because still today people are seeing him. Now he has since passed on, but they're seeing his spirit. And we actually had a case in Stamford where the family felt that they actually saw him. Yeah, they saw him.
That's the one between the two trees?
Nope, they
No,
actually
this is the one we
inside the
just
house.
did?
Yeah, they actually saw him inside the house, up and saw a man standing in the doorway, and he looked like the Leatherman. He had the hat, he had the leather, you know, I guess it was dark, but he could tell that it was some type of leather outfit that he was wearing.
I wonder if where the house was built was one of the spots that he would stay.
Maybe, or he definitely went through there, because if he was down in this area and then up towards New York, he was definitely in that area. Yeah. So what do you think? You think the Leatherman could still be around?
I think he's still walking,
Yeah, because he just did that during his life, and yeah. Because I kind of feel the same way too. I feel like he did it all his life. So
and I think
why
he's
would
still,
he do it now?
he's still just, that's all he knows, so he's still...
Right. And they say that the only time he would communicate was like through grunts sometimes. He wouldn't really actually say words. Yeah. And he's actually buried in New York.
He is?
Yeah, he's buried in New York. But, I mean, it was interesting because we actually had a case that involved him. So, you know, there's a Leatherman still around.
I thought he was a legend, just like a folk, what do you call that? Just like a...
Yeah, just a legend. Yeah,
and then
apparently he was a real man.
They have pictures of him and everything.
Yeah. And what was awesome was that book that you shared with me had actual locations. These locations are still homes that are homes today. And he was locally had been
I drive by one all the time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just hope he's at rest, because sometimes I feel like maybe he wasn't at rest during his lifetime because he traveled so much.
Maybe he suffered from some issues that,
Maybe. Yeah.
they didn't treat things like that back then.
True. True, especially the 1800s.
Right.
But they don't know how he made his money, but he actually always paid for, like, food and stuff.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he was just, had money, or, because nobody ever saw him work. Everybody saw was just him walking around, and
Maybe people gave him money?
maybe, that's possible.
Or maybe he was an eccentric rich rich and
Yeah.
family left him money or something, and he just,
Mhm.
he might have buried it somewhere along the way all the time. You don't know.
It's sad because
with
we
people
don't
like
we
that.
don't know the history, because he
Right.
never talked about it, and he never told anybody his story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes it sad, but yeah, it's always interesting, to hear about him. And wouldn't it be cool if we're driving one night and we see him?
Yeah. Especially if we get lost and he tries to drive.
Yeah.
Tell us we're trying to get somewhere.